So I just got back from visiting the cancer center, the Livian Cancer Center in Charlotte. And I'd been there for an appointment for my daughter and witnessed some truly bizarre behavior on the part of the people there. Their policy is that you need to divulge your vaccine status to enter the building. It doesn't matter whether you're vaccinated or not. You just need to divulge your status. At least they ask you to. I tend to answer questions when I'm asked them. I'm not ashamed of not being vaccinated, so I said I wasn't, and I got this handy dandy yellow armband. And there are probably people saying, well, of course, they want to protect the cancer patients, except we know that the vaccine does not prevent spread. We know that, right? And we know that it doesn't prevent you from getting infected. So, I mean, if you're vaccinated, you can spread it. If you're vaccinated, you can get it. What it mostly does, as we understand, is keep you out of the hospital. So theoretically, it would be most important for the cancer patient to be vaccinated, not everyone visiting the cancer patient. But that's, what we thought a year ago, we've been told, including by the CDC and Dr. Fauci, is not the case. There's nobody anymore who maintains that the vaccine prevents you from spreading it. So it's widely known, it's mainstream. I'm not saying anything that's misinformation. But nevertheless, I had to wear the ironic color yellow to let everyone in the building know that I'm unclean, I guess. Anyway, and then I witnessed the police officer they have staffed in each of the departments who just wanders around to monitor your mask usage. I was wearing a surgical mask, so I really didn't get harassed or anything, but there was a woman there, a patient wearing a cloth mask, a cancer patient. She was told to either remove her cloth mask and put on a surgical mask or double mask. So she double masked, she was not happy about it. And then they wanted to know where her armband was. And she said, well, I don't have one. And they said, you need to tell us what your vaccine status is. And she said, I'm not going to. That's between my doctor and me. It's none of your business. She's a cancer patient. So she's taking her risks, right? That she's the patient. And they had the police officer and two different nurses telling her she had to answer the question. And I'm just sitting watching like, this is amazing to me. These people are in the medical profession. It is a scientific profession. They tell us they're very concerned about scientific accuracy and accuracy of information. But none of this makes sense. They were harassing a cancer patient about telling them the answer to a question, the answer to which doesn't matter because they're gonna treat her. And the reason I know that is she's just gotten out of surgery. So they treated her. She said to me that she didn't answer the question to the surgeon. She didn't answer the question to the nurses before her surgery. So now she's in an outpatient facility to get some tests run. And they're insisting that she answer this question before they treat her. None of this makes any sense. And what occurs to me, since I focus on education, is how these are folks who are in the medical profession. So presumably they took enough science classes, past science classes, to make it here. But increasingly we are not teaching science using the scientific method, teaching kids as young as, let's say 9th grade, how to, really look at things empirically and demand evidence. And on the way home, I'm listening to the Jason Riley book, Maverick, about Thomas Sowell. And it talks about how Thomas Sowell, in his younger days, was a Marxist, was a socialist, yes. When he went to college, even when he headed out to the University of Chicago and was in the School of Economics, studying under Friedman and people like that, he was still a Marxist and he made no bones about it. But he attributes his ability to turn away from Marxism as he learned more and grew older and had more, he was already in his 20s, but as he learned more about economics, to his 9th grade science teacher. His 9th grade science teacher who taught him science and how you must back up your hypotheses with evidence. That it's not enough to just have a theory. It's not enough to have a theory that is backed up by your just simple observations, right? You can't just look at things and say, well, that seems to be true. I feel that it's true. You must test it. You must test it, and you must have data. And the data must, support your hypothesis, right? And so there's Thomas Sowell, one of the greatest minds ever, in my opinion. And he attributes his open-mindedness, his ability to resist the pull of Marxism permanently. In other words, he was drawn into it for many reasons. I mean, youth, being exposed to it in college, the fact that he had grown up, poor and in Harlem, and, it seemed rather appealing to think about, these complicated things that he didn't really understand. And, Marx had a nice way of explaining it that made it seem to make sense. But as soon as he was forced to test it by these Nobel Prize winning economists who were his teachers, he went ahead and tested it. He didn't have a resistance to testing it because it was impressed upon him as a 9th grader that that's the only way, that's the way to think scientifically. So I know for a fact that's not how we're teaching science right now in 9th grade in the United States of America, as a general rule. Now, some of you watching might say, I'm a science teacher, that's how I do it. Awesome. You go. I hope there are lots of science teachers like that. I just have seen enough science assignments in the last year to know there too many aren't doing it that way. And I've seen enough adults, young adults, and even not so young adults not being scientific in their thinking. And that doesn't have to just apply to medicine. Okay, I bring up the example because to me, it's so obvious. But also in other fields. The reason that people are just following these things is that nobody along the way, I would venture to guess, impressed upon them well enough that that's not how we make decisions about science or anything where we're doing risk analysis, we're doing any kind of a, this or that, what are the trade-offs? Empiricism needs to make a comeback, guys. So I know I talk a lot on my channel about specific elements of critical pedagogy, critical race theory, SEL, gender theory, or gender ideology, if you will. But the root cause of all of this taking hold is that we've had too many people go from K-12 into college without a solid empirical framework to apply to all their other studies. You're supposed to spend K-12 learning that. You're supposed to spend K-12 learning how to learn. Nobody supposes that K-12 is going to leave you knowing enough facts and enough things, skills to go out and function in the world. Rarely, right? You're going to need something else, either life experience or professional training or college degree or advanced degree or something in order to go out there and, make a good life for yourself. You're probably going to need more knowledge. Like I said, it could be life experience, could be on-the-job experience. But even that, you're going to learn faster and better and apply it more to whatever it is you want to do in this life if you have a solid empirical framework. I have a theory, or someone is proposing a theory to me. Well, let's test it. Or where's your evidence? When somebody is making a claim to you as a person, you're going to end up being better off in terms of properly following them when that claim or not. You won't be led astray as often as if you have an empirical mind. If you say, I'm asking you for evidence to prove that what you're telling me is true. I'm not just going to blindly follow you because you say nice things, or I like the way you look, or we seem to agree on a lot of superficial stuff, or we look the same. Where's the data? Where's the evidence? And can you reproduce this again and again? That's what's missing. And to see that missing in a medical setting is, to say the least, disconcerting. But that's where we are right now. Is, as I said, it is widely known that the vaccine does not prevent transmission, nor does it prevent you from getting sick. What it does, supposedly, I'm not making a claim either way. I'm just saying the current claim, official claim, is that it is ameliorate. It prevents you from getting so sick that you would have to go to the hospital. It tells your immune system how to fight it, so you will not get so sick that you will die. It supposedly prevents you from dying. Now, I can't attest to whether that's true or not, but we know now definitively the first stuff is true. So then explain to me why it is necessary for anyone to demand to know your status or to insist that you get vaccinated. This would be akin to somebody saying, put on a diaper so I don't pee my pants. Okay? That's just what I wanted to share with you right now. I'm trying to just keep my chin up and not let it bother me, because if I let it bother me, then my blood pressure will continue to stay high, and I'm working on getting that down. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day.